Hi everybody, Laura here for Simon Says Stamp. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to be joining you for another Funny Friday project with Art Impressions. This is the Workout Gal. This is one of those WHEELIE clear stamp and die sets. So you get the stamp, you get the die, you get a few brads, and on the back of the stamp packaging, it walks you through step by step how to put this interactive card together. So I'm going to start by stamping the image, the large image. I'm stamping it with VersaFine ONYX black ink onto Bristol paper because I'm going to color the images with Zig clean color markers. And I have the 24 pack of Zigs. You can buy them individually. You can buy them in a 100 pack. I just have the 24. I feel like now that I've been using them more often, I want more color choices. This one here is just the flesh color. I also have that little blending palette. It's like a clear laminated board, and you can scribble your Zig Clean colors on it and then pick it up with a wet brush. So that's what I do sometimes, or sometimes I just scribble on the image onto the Bristol paper and then just drag it around with the wet brush. This is the Carmine Red, so I'm going around with her little unitard. I guess that's what you call it. It's like a unitard with triangles on it, and then she has a towel wrapped around her neck. This would be kind of sort of what I would look like if I ever did ride a bike, minus the bright red lipstick. I hardly ever wear a bright red lip. I like more of a subtle gloss. I'm kind of a subtle nude gloss type of a gal. But my mom always teases me about that. She's like, you wear lipstick that doesn't even look like you have lipstick on. But what can I say? I'm kind of conservative with the lip. So she's a brunette. And now I'm going with the dies. You take this tiny little die, and there's a dot right on the side of her hip. It stamps right on there. You line up the circle die, take it off camera to run it through the Gemini Junior, and you can see there it cut a little hole right in her hip. Now there's a slightly larger size circle that's going to go right in the center of the wheel. Again, run that through the die cutting machine. So we have two holes here, the hip and the wheel. And then I have a few more images that I need to stamp. Again, now like I'm going step by step with the instructions on the back of the packaging. So that's how I'm putting it together. And I am very easily confused when it comes to interactive cards. I get stumped. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I am very easily confused, perplexed, bewildered, you named it. When it comes to interactive cards, I just... I don't know, the old ticker doesn't want to work that way. So once I get these images colored, taking the coordinating dies to die cut these out, line them up, adhering them down with Post-it tape, take it off camera, run it through the die cutting machine, and then we'll start adhering this thing together. So now this is for the little turn handle that will go on the inside of the card. I'm going to die cut those little pieces so you get the circle disc and then the strip that turns into a handle. I'm going to stamp the little, it says turn on the circular thing. So it comes with some brads, and you take the foot brad, you adhere it to the wheel like that. You just see that? You want it on there, but you don't want it too tight. It's got to have a little motion. So it's kind of loose, kind of snug. It's just that right sweet spot like that. So the wheel can go with the foot. And then I'll put one right on her, like, what is that, calf? I don't know. And I adhere that to the thigh bone. The calf bone's connected to the thigh bone. I should know this, but I do not. Okay, so again, you don't want the brad too tight, too loose. You know, you got it, right? So then the last brad is going to go right onto the card, right inside her little hip. And then I'll tighten that on the back. And look at this. This is my favorite part of the whole video right here. Look at her leg. She's working it, stretching it. Look at how flexible she is. I'll tell you what, right now, you could sit here and play with this thing all day long and never get sick of it. That's how I feel about it. Like, and I showed my kids and they were just like, how did you do that, Mom? They thought I was a magician. That's what these art impressions thing make people think you're a magician. So I wanted to give a little border. So I took some Lawn Fawn Really Rainbow pattern paper and I die cut that circle to line up with the wheel so that we could adhere those together. Because I'm going to need that turn thing to be able to pop through on the inside of the card. So take a little tape runner and adhere this panel to the pattern paper. And then we have to do this one more time onto a white card base. Okay, so I've got a white card base like that. I'm going to line this up and then I'm going to trace that little circle opening one more time take that tiny little circle die and die cut that right into the front of my card base. Looking at this lady on the bike reminds me of, I don't know if you remember last year for Mother's Day, my lovely family decided to get me a bike for Mother's Day. It's like a fluorescent coral, beautiful bike with one of the big mama cushy seats on it. And I didn't ask for a bike. I wasn't desiring a bike, but they thought I would just love to have a bike. And I actually did enjoy it more than I thought I would. And I was riding it. I was actually riding my daughter to school every day. She was in 2nd grade last year at the time, and so she loved having me ride with her. By the way, I'm adhering this little turn disc to the inside of the card, and this is the handle. Put a little tape runner on that, and you can fold up this strip into a handle like so. And then you pop that onto the circle, and that's your little handle to turn it. And then on the front of it, you take off the backing and adhere the wheel. Okay, so I haven't been riding the bike. Long story short, I don't ride the bike anymore. But look at this lady. Did you notice that big glass of wine sitting on the front of her treadmill? Speaking of that, my daughters want to get me into a spinning class. Now, I don't know about that, but they really want to do it with me. Now, for the sentiment, I went ahead and embossed a sentiment from the stamp set. It says, keeping it wheel. And that's what we need to all do in our life, right? We need to keep it wheel. So I popped that up in the corner, and this card is finished. Look at that. So on the inside, you turn it. Looks like she's riding. You show it to anyone. They think you're a magician. I'm telling you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.